All right, good morning or afternoon to everyone, depending on where you are in your part of the world. I'm finally gonna do it. I know I've been saying for the longest that I was gonna start doing my live streams and getting more involved in the political side of things and commentary and just different takes from my perspective as a black man that's not necessarily a Democrat nor Republican. So I'm neither liberal nor conservative, but I do tend to lean more towards conservatism in their views, or in its views. So um, I thought, man, what is the better time than now to get started on something that I've been wanting to do anyways for a long time. And yeah, we're gonna get started today. We're gonna go over something that's really hot right now, and we're gonna talk about Charlie Kirk and what his real message was to Black America. Because a lot of people seem to, especially Black men and Black women, they think that Charlie Kirk is this big racist, and a lot of his political views or worldly views embody that. And that's not what I've seen from Charlie from the debates and prove me wrong segments that I've watched. So I wanted to go over, start off my first quote unquote show and go over two or three clips of Charlie speaking to African Americans or people of color and talking about his beliefs and his standpoint and see where the misinterpretations come from and if it's done deliberately or if it's just something that people is not really watching themselves and listen to mainstream media. Because after watching these videos or these clips, I don't see how a person can come away thinking that he's racist for giving you um, a viewpoint that is actually true. So I know it's a hard pill to swallow as the black community. And don't get me wrong, everybody can say a lot of things a little bit better, but I don't think that Charlie is rude in any of the things that he's saying in these clips. But I know there are some people that's going to be sensitive and take offense to anything. So we're going to start off with this clip of him at a Turning Point rally. Well, it's not necessarily a rally; it's his event, the same kind of event that he was unalive for. And we're gonna go over these clips, and we'll do some commentating over certain parts of it. And I want to see if you guys see anything out of these clips that I don't see that will suggest that Charlie is a racist. But before we do that, I do want to get my chat up on TikTok because I'm pretty sure we'll have some people coming here soon. I hope you guys are having a good Tuesday. I originally wanted to get in here and get started strong on Monday, which was yesterday, but I had some other things I needed to take care of, and I wanted to get my thought process in order. And I'm not where I want to be. Where I know we could be as a show. So yeah, this is going to be not not very minimal production, but not the vision where I want to be right now. But we will eventually get there with the help of you guys. So we're gonna go over the first clip. Like I said, he's at a turning point event where he's speaking to a guy, and this guy he really has like he didn't have like a ill will or a bad vibe. I don't get that from him in his questioning. I think that he really wanted to know Charlie's thought process, and this is one of the clips of the many clips that people saw from Charlie and wanted to say that his response or the way that he talked about Black America or even using the word blacks as we use the word whites was offensive. So we'll go over that right now. Well, maybe if I can click the right thing,
right?
we'll go
So
over it.
when segregation ended, right, black people, or when slavery ended, actually, black people were just forced wherever, right? So they had nowhere to go, and then there was laws put in place to put them into prison, and after,
It's
okay,
okay. No, no. What's your name? Guys, what's your name?
Jackson,
Jackson.
Jackson.
It takes a lot of courage to come up here.
Yeah, no,
Let's
I
just
know.
take a deep breath. Okay, I'm
I
not here
know.
to pick on you,
No, I
and
know. I need
I
to get my
appreciate it.
thoughts together.
No, no, it's okay.
See that right there alone shows you the mindset and how you can only be so gentle when it comes to debates like this, but he clearly was. He saw that the guy was getting a little what we call straight stage fright, and instead of just looking at him smiling and talking down on him, he's gonna intervene and help this guy out with his own perspective or with his own thought process of what he was trying to tell Charlie.
I know this can be very intimidating getting a crowd like this, so just take a deep breath. Let me make your argument. I'm going to make your argument for you, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's wrong. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the argument that is being made that you want to make is that there's legacies of injustice.
Yes.
And that those legacies impact one generation after the other, and when those things get handed down, you have what is a system or a systemic issue that isn't just isolated in 2024. So the argument that you're making is that what happened in 1954 does impact 2024 of decade after decade after decade. Let me tell you my response to that. Of course, there is some truth to that. However, every culture, every person in this audience can point to issues that families or generations prior had that we're able to overcome. So the question is, why is it that Black America is one of the only populations, that and Native American populations, that have not been able to overcome such evil, horrors, and injustices? Here's my perspective, and
So I'm gonna start right there. That's a fair question. What Charlie is gonna hit on, and he has hit on this many of times. He's basically saying that yes, Black American, African Americans here in the United States and all over the world actually have been through some bad times, but he's not ignoring the fact that African Americans are not the only group of people that's been through hard times. A lot of we know that Americans, African Americans, were not the only people that went through injustice or enslaved enslaved to their masters. Like we were probably one of the worst cases ever, but we're not the only ones that it happened to. So his question is, if there are multiple people, multiple groups that's been through these harsh times and these wrong times, why is it that African Americans are the only ones that still haven't recovered from it? And I think that's a valid point. So let's hear what Charlie's perspective is on this.
want to hear what you have to say. Is that the number one way to keep people out of poverty, lower the crime rate, and have a better society is whether or not you have a mom and a dad around? Would we agree that's an ideal? Yeah? Cool.
Yeah.
So what happened in 1964 is that 25% of Black youth were raised by a single mom. Today, it's nearly 75%, about 70%. So that means that 1 in 4 Black kids will have a father around. Only 1 in 4. That's the number one issue happening in the country, and it's not because of systemic racism. I'd like to hear what you have to say about that.
Okay.
All right, so before we listen to this guy respond, so Charlie is 100% right. Like, and I think that we're coming to realize that now in 2025, and we started this actually like during the pandemic, as we had to rely on our family more and get closer to our family, because we didn't have the ability to really just go outside and enjoy the way that we used to. That the fathers not being inside the home is, in my opinion, I agree with Charlie. It's not the only reason, but it's the biggest reason why we're failing as a culture, anyways, in the Black community. Because we know that statistically, and you can look this up on pretty much any website that has any credible stats, that households with a mother and a father in it tend to produce some of the most productive members of society. Now, there are always going to be cases whereas you can have a perfect situation. You have a mother and a father, and sometimes the kid can be spoiled, or the kid can turn out to be just a nut job, a nutcase. So there are those situations, but on average, for the most part, even better, more than average, that if there's a case where there's a mother and a father in the household, they tend to raise a healthy and a family that contributes to society in a more positive way. So I think that was one of the things that Charlie always spoke about, and nothing's wrong with that because it's absolutely true.
So I think I misjudged you at first. Like when you brought up the 1350 stat, I had like just assumed that it was like inherently like eugenics based, kind of, you know. So and that's where mine came from. Like I think we are on the same page that like we know what the problem is, and that's what I mean. Like
No,
the
and that's
education.
thank you for saying that because I think we actually have a lot more in common in this country than the media would
Yeah,
ever
no,
believe,
definitely,
right?
definitely, right.
This is
And
true.
like what my point was, I was trying to say is I don't think that we're doing enough to help these black communities catch up. Where as like they're underfunded and they're not and they're over policed and there's just these factors that are contributing to, like you said, these single parent households.
Yeah.
Like
So we're not going to agree on this. This is where we'll disagree, and that's okay. I have more of a view of Thomas Sowell on this, where he believes it's far more about culture, values, and worldview than stuff and over policing. I believe there's not enough police in black neighborhoods. You're going to disagree with that. Let's not even get into it, okay? But I think we can ask a question, and I want your
All right, so when it comes to Thomas Sowell, I don't know a whole lot about Thomas Sowell, but I do know that he's regarded as one of the most respected, I think, economists. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he's actually a black guy. I could be wrong. I'm going to Google this guy a little bit more, find out a little bit more about Thomas Sowell because I actually hear Charlie speak about Thomas Sowell a lot, and I've never really just taken the time out to put effort in to figure out who he was as an economist or as a person, anyways. But for the most part, I've always hear him talk positive about Thomas Sowell. So yeah, just Google him if you don't really know who he is. Look at his Wikipedia or whatever, and you guys can come to your own conclusion about Thomas Sowell.
opinion. Why is it that the single motherhood rate in black America went from 25% to 75% over 50 years, where America did become less racist?
like why did it?
Yeah, so what caused black America to go from one of the strongest nuclear
Ah,
family communities in the country
this is
to
the
now the
question.
weakest by far?
Now, do you think that a racist would refer to black people the way that he just referred to black people? He really pretty much just said that. I'm gonna actually let you hear from for yourself what he just said. He just gave the black community a compliment as to how powerful they were back then, and he's basically saying then what happened that destroyed the black family, which was one of the most put together families, a group of individuals 40, 50 years ago opposed to what they are today. What happened? That's his question to this guy. What happened? Right.
Black America to go from one of the strongest nuclear family communities in the country to now the weakest by far.
I can't answer your
No,
question
that's
on that.
okay. No, that's great. And is again, it's hard to get up and have these conversations. Here's my opinion. My opinion is that yes, there was some social welfare that subsidized single motherhood, which means it's easier to get cash from the government if you say you are single than if you are married. I think we can agree that's stupid. That shouldn't happen, right? But I would love your perspective on this. Do you think in black culture, getting married and staying with one woman for your entire life is elevated and celebrated?
No, not at all.
I think that's the
No,
problem.
I think
Now the good thing about it, this is he's 100%. Well, I'm gonna say he's 98% true or right about this because that was the case for a long time, especially when you listen to a lot of the celebrities and hip hop artists and rappers, the way that they speak about black women or women, not even just black women, just women in general. Well, you'll come to find out when you talk about these issues, it's not just becoming a black thing. Like these people don't really care. They it's more so a socially economic group. Like it's the have and the have-nots. And if you're a part of the have-nots, this applies to you as well now. But what he's saying is that the way that we perceive the black community being together, the men and women being together, has been tainted by culture, and that is one of the biggest issues. And I 100% agree with him.
the problem stems from a lack of education. I think these communities don't have. I don't think a lot of them have the proper education or learning from previous to realize what will lead them to a more successful future. I think that if we funded more education in these systems, then these men wouldn't be so focused on stuff like gang violence to
Yeah,
get
so
protection or money
you
or
you have a
other
great
stuff like that, and then end up in prison and then end up with their child being having a single mother.
fair enough. So
Sorry, I didn't
No,
articulate
no, no, it's
that
great.
well.
So there's a lot of examples that there's some merit to your argument, but it's more about the quality of education than the amount of money we spend on it.
Yeah.
Such as, that's why I'm a big proponent of school choice and educational vouchers and opposing the teacher unions. But the core is this, is that the number one predictor for a kid of any skin color, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, is whether or not dad is around.
Right.
And I look as an outsider, albeit, at current black culture, right? From the athletes to the rap music to the music, I don't see the nuclear family elevated.
It's
Nor
absolutely
is
right.
it an
You
internal black cultural.
you don't hear that a lot of music. Like you'll hear some. We're getting better at it now, especially as of the last couple of years with some of the more cultural conscious rappers like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar's, and you have a lot of upcoming artists now that's starting to realize that they need to get back to being like better dads and better people for their community. And you never can. I don't want to be one of those people to say that it's too late or that ship is sailed, but we have a lot of making up to do. But Charlie is 100% right. Like that is one of the biggest factor to a cultural or a what's going on with your mama? How you guys doing? I'm just now starting to see the feed come through on live. That's one of the biggest determining factors as how successful a group of people would be. You need to have your mom and dad inside in the households. And the way that we're going to get back to that is promoting that through the things that we visually see on TV and on the internet, social media. So Charlie wasn't wrong about this. I don't understand why Black America cannot hear what he's saying and take it for what it is. Like, and he's not being rude by saying it.
Expectation. Now, I will ask some of the white individuals here in this audience, okay? If you guys got pregnant and all of a sudden you didn't even know who the father was around, how would your parents react? Not great, right? Yes? Unfortunately, in black America, this is kind of accepted. Would you agree?
I can't say I grew up around a lot of white people, so I can't
All
say
right,
like
okay.
I'm.
Well, so, but
Well, I
it is a
did.
fact
It
that
is
it's accepted,
accepted.
right? So that's
Yeah,
the problem. The
I'm just saying
problem is
I
that
don't
it's
know.
a cultural norm that has then turned into the cycle of poverty. The cycle of poverty can break very quickly if fathers stayed with the women they
Okay,
impregnate.
but most of these fathers aren't just leaving. A large majority of these fathers are ending up in prison. Like
Okay,
this is
good point.
this
Why do you go to prison?
because you commit crimes, but
Okay,
because
yeah.
the prison
He tried
system
to skip
has
over
been
that.
targeted against minorities.
Again, we're not going to
For
agree here, and
right,
that's
we're not.
okay.
Yeah,
There's actually under enforcement of the laws when it
under
comes where there's, for example, only half of murders in Chicago get solved.
right, but
So that
are they
means
all black people though?
almost all of them, yeah, like
Well,
80.
if they're not solved, how do we know that they're black people?
Well, because it's a black victim in a black neighborhood by a black gang. So it's
So
like you can assume at a great approximation that in the west
so
side of Chicago,
50% of the murders in Chicago that go unsolved are all black
not
people
all,
dead in
no, I
black.
said 85%. But we don't know who the perp is. But again, if you have a black victim at 2 a.m. in a black neighborhood, it's reasonable to say that it was a black on black crime. 90%.
Just like if you had a victim that happened at that time of night in the Hamptons, you would assume that it was a white or a non-black family. So no argument here from there. Like he's just talking about when he says things that when he speak on things, then he try to use common sense and speak on averages. A lot of people, well, you said that you want to apply this to everybody. No, he understands that there's an exception. There's always an exception to the rule. Of course, you're gonna have black people in those neighborhoods, but by average or more than average, actually, that's gonna be more. I mean, least likely to be the result of what happened. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Of murders after 2 a.m. in Chicago are black on black crimes. I'm from Chicago. I
Right.
happen to know it.
So
Right. But
so
no, but like half of all murders in Chicago are unsolved, which that means half of all murderers are walking free. So we have an under enforcement of laws. We have the ladies here in this audience should know this. You know that there's over 600,000 rape kits in this country that have not even been opened or tested, which
Hmm.
means that there
I
are
didn't know
women who
that.
say that they've been
How
raped
you doing, Mr.
and
Bayers?
their kits are not even put in the system. There are
yeah,
probably hundreds of thousands of rapists that walk free in this country.
yeah, no, our system is
No,
totally
what I'm saying though,
terrible.
that's an under enforcement of laws though.
Yeah, because our system is terrible.
No, I know, but you said we have an over enforcement. I don't think we have enough people in jail.
You don't think we have enough
No,
people?
like I said,
Yeah.
half of all murderers walk free. We don't even know who they are.
Okay, but and I sure whatever. But I'm talking. I don't think that I don't think that black people are as like half. more than 50% of exonerations from prison are black people. Like a black person is more likely than any other race to be tried for a crime that they did not commit and then to be released from prison for a crime that they
Yeah,
did not commit.
they're that's not totally true. Let's pretend that it is. It's because they're in front of the justice system more because of the high crime. But let's try to find some agreement.
I'm talking percentages of exonerations. Like they're
No, it's because they're in the system more though. It's because you have more cases. But anyway, let's
So basically, just saying it's a law of averages. If most of the people in front of you that committed crime or potentially committed crime are black people, so you're prosecuting a lot of. And we're not saying that only black people commit crimes because we know that's not true. It's totally not true. But if I'm working with a lot of black people that commit crime, 98% of people that I'm speaking to in front of me are black people that alleged to commit crime, and my job is to prosecute. Sometimes you're going to get that wrong, and now don't get me wrong, we know that the justice system does not work, and you have a lot of dirty lawyers and a lot of dirty judges. But what Charlie is saying, that it's more likely to happen to black people because there's more people in front of the judges that are African American. So yes, it happens. If the script was flipped and most of those people were white, and yeah, there are a lot of white people in jail. I don't know why people say that. I don't know why people want to deny that, but he's saying that if it was flipped, then you'll have a lot more white individuals being exonerated because there'll be more chances for it to happen. But that's just not the case right now.
pretend that's true.
Right,
Let's
right.
pretend the system's totally racist.
Actually, there's more white people in the system because white people make up like what, like
No, for sure.
70%.
It's-
Yeah,
it's-
so,
it's-
so
it's-
you're
it's a-
just so you're just incorrect there,
It's
right?
a-
Like you're doing to me.
But they don't commit as many
so,
crimes.
Okay, so
No,
so
I've
let's
been
let's
super
be
not-
cordial. Let's be cordial.
You're not being, so let's calm down a little bit, okay?
You're
So,
not being.
Am I being sweet to this guy?
I think he's been pretty nice.
All right, let me ask you one question in closing, though. If you could, okay, if you could say to Black America, here is more money, more stuff, more housing, or more fathers, which one would you choose?
Good
More
question.
funding.
Everybody that he asks this question on, they have to. You'll notice that they have to pause every time. And the reason is because they already know what the real answer is, but they know if they answer that question in that way, that it debunks everything that they're saying. Because that's really what Charlie is always getting to. He's always getting to the fact that all these issues stem from one major issue. And that one major issue is that there's not enough fathers and mothers in the same household with their kids. That's what he's saying. And this guy knows that. That's why he has to pause. And he's not the only person that does that. If you watch these debates with Charlie, you would thank you for following AD. You would find out that this happens more often than not. They get stumped on this question because they know the real answer.
I don't think because fathers. I think that you need to solve the problem from the bottom. I don't think you can just plant a bunch of fathers in and they're going to stay there. Like you said, they're just going to like in the culture. It's not part of the culture, so they would just
No,
leave.
it's a hypothetical, meaning if the fathers were to stay.
Were to stay?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. If like I just knew for 100% fact that they were going to stay.
No,
sure.
we have agreement. So during the BLM stuff 4 years ago, did we hear anything from the national BLM leaders or anybody about black dads staying around with women they impregnate? Did
We
anyone
don't hear that
mention
a lot. We don't hear that a lot in our black
Why?
community.
They're actually, it's the fundamental issue. The fundamental issue is if you have a father around, less likely to commit crimes, more likely to graduate high school, more likely to get a job, less likely to be in poverty.
How do we get there? Like this is what I'm like.
No,
how do we get there?
Hey, I
the first
appreciate
one
you,
is
AD.
you must raise the standard of expectation, both internally and externally in the black community, that we're not going to put up with men, because we're both men, fleeing the women that they impregnate.
Yeah.
That we will say to men that flee the women that they impregnate, you're a loser, we're not going to tolerate you, we're not going to be friends with you, that you're the scum of the earth, that if you impregnate a woman and you just run away from them.
Most definitely.
Now, what Charlie just said is 100% correct, and thankfully, well, I gotta say this first. I have to say this in reverse. Sadly, he won't be here to actually see the fruits of his labor because, thankfully, a lot of black men. I gotta stop saying black men because this issue is not just about black men. But people are starting to realize this issue, and we're starting to cherish the household a lot more. We understand that having two parents in the household is giving us more of a chance to be successful to each other as well as for our families. So I'm starting to see a cultural change, but I also feel like that's the reason why the government started to overreach so much because they don't want that. And Charlie has always he's always shed a light on that. So I'm hoping within the next couple years that we get more and more uh, families that's being together, making conscious decisions to stay together. You know that if you lay down together, you're liable to create together, and if you create something, you need to take care of it. So, but overall, even on social media, you see a lot of I've called out a couple of people, both white and black, for being it. Yeah, we should, and we need to start to scorn them more. And that's what Charlie is saying. That we instead of praising these people for in music and in movies for leaving their wives after they get them pregnant or their girlfriends after they get them pregnant, we need to start to do what most other communities do. Like you don't see that in like the Asian community. I hope that's the right way to say it. You don't see that in the Asian community. Community. You don't see that a lot in the white community. You see it, but it's not as prominent as it is in the black community. Like they're raised and taught that if you lay down and you create a baby with someone, you need to take care of it. You know, and we used to be that way as a black community. Me growing up, my mom always said, like, if you get a girl pregnant, you gonna take care of that baby. I'm not taking care of nothing like that. That was our responsibility, you know. And of course, she would parents always will help out, but that was just their way of instilling in us that we're not gonna put up with you just going around and get somebody pregnant and not taking care of them. Well, you shouldn't be getting nobody pregnant in general. Thank you for the like. If you guys could like the video, share. Let's get it out in the algorithm because I have two more clips to go over, and I would like to get it as in front of many eyes as I can. But yeah, like if we start to scorn that as a whole, then it will change because one thing about men will change in accordance to what women like or what women want. If women start to cherish the men that take care of their kids, are faithful, then like in essence, men are gonna want to be with women, so they're gonna capitulate to it, and they'll be better people. So I'm not saying that that women is the fault of this, anyways, but I'm saying that if we start to promote better behavior from men and being with their being faithful in their relationships and taking care of their families and providing the way they should provide, then I think that we'll get a better outcome in the long term. And we need to get back to that. But I will say it's getting a lot better. If you look on social media, you see a lot of social media channels where boyfriend and girlfriends doing a lot of things together. They're creating together, whether it's on the OF or if it's just being content creators. I see that a lot now. I see a lot of men just cherishing like their relationships with their girlfriends and their families, and they're showing it a lot. And that's what we need to be seen, need to be shown to the black community so that we can see, okay, this is a vision forward, this is a way to survive, this is a way to provide, and we can have fun with doing it. So Charlie is 100% correct, and this guy, he knows that he's correct as well.
Definitely,
Do we do that right
yeah,
now?
most are. I don't think all men do. I think this is very common. Uh, uh, what's the word I'm looking? I think this is very common in just masculine culture in general. Is that men won't do that too?
I actually think it's the opposite of masculine culture.
Like-
too. I think it's not feminine. It's something else.
No.
Just fleeing from the
Well,
difficult.
no, but I'm saying in male circles. I feel like that is something that males would praise, or at least around my age range. That's something
Okay.
that happens.
So then I
That's-
think we need to demand better. Thank you for coming up to the mic. I know it's
Yep.
not easy, and God bless you. Thank
Yep,
you so
you
much.
Have a good day, sir.
Now, from the beginning to end, this 10-minute and 43 clips, I mean 43-second clip, I didn't see Charlie being a racist. He talked to this guy like he was a human being with respect, which I've always seen him do. He didn't look down on him, and even in the beginning, when the guy was trying to get out his point of view and he got stuck, Charlie jumped in and helped him out with his own point of view, so that he didn't embarrass himself in front of a crowd because he knew how tough it was to do to get on that mic and speak. So yeah, man, this is I can sit here and watch this clip and say that I disagree with Charlie, one, or two, that he's a racist. I don't see it. Nothing proves that. All right, so now we're gonna go over to clip number two, which is going to end up being on the same tip, but it's going to be more so about how DEI um, does more harm than it does help into the black community or any community really, because DEI is just not meant for African Americans. It's meant for minorities in general, and it all ties back to that one fundamental principle. If we can change the culture of not having the parents in the household, then there will be no need for a DEI program, because everybody will be, if someone says he's a racist, hateful, and tell on themselves or not actually, that's exactly what it is, and that's the point that I'm making. That a lot of times when I hear people say that Charlie is a racist, is either A, they never really watched Charlie or his debates, and or B, that they get their information and their thought process from mainstream media. And that's why mainstream media is not doing well right now, because once you flip that switch on and you see the mainstream media for what it is, you kind of feel a little betrayed, like I did. Like I come. Thank you for following, Braden. I appreciate you. When you flip that light on and you see the ugly head that the mainstream media has on top of his shoulders, it turns you off, and you go down this rabbit hole, and you realize that, man, a lot of stuff that I was taught is not what it was, and that's what people are starting to figure out now. And I think that's one of the reasons why Charlie had to go, for to the people that's controlling us, what controlling the government like this. So we'll get into this second clip, and you guys, clip one, I'm in agreement with myself that I didn't see anything racist from Charlie. So we'll go to clip two.
Baked into the idea of white privilege is that inherently in our culture as society, somebody that has white skin color in this audience has extra privileges that you as a black individual do not have. Can you list what those are?
Thank you for following Jinx. I appreciate you, appreciate you, my friend. When people realized that MSM had a law passed, that allows them to lie and give buffer, MSM. Yeah, can you, 80, can you write out what MSM means? Because a lot of people that may or may not watch this, they may not know what is. As well as myself, that when it comes to abbreviations like that, mainstream media. There you go. See, I know what mainstream media is, but I never referred to it as MSM. So you taught me something new. So if I see it again in the future, I know. I appreciate it. Thank you. Nutritious Dev. I just followed you the other day and so forth. I appreciate you, Nutritious. I appreciate you a lot. This is I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I've been wanting to start doing this 3 months ago, but I've always been procrastinated. I tried to do it through gaming and make it a little bit fun, but I come to realize that people that game, they really don't want to game and talk about cultural or political issues. So now I'm making sort of a pivot, and I'm going to be doing this a lot more. So I appreciate you and your kind words. Give me the motivation I need to keep going. Gave Bill Montgomery gave Charlie Kirk 4.7 million to start turning point because Obama was running again. That might be true. I never knew this. I'm not saying that it is true or untrue. It'll be something that I'll copy and paste and put down in my notes and look into. You say I stick to music and gaming. Yeah, it's kind of hard to do, but I'll get there. I'll figure out a way to fine tune everything. But this is my first one today doing it. So thank you, That C, for liking the live, guys. If you can, like the live, share it to your friends, that are like it, even if they are like minded individuals, because it's okay to have a dialect even if we disagree. But I will say this: if you can, TikTok is really big about banning me for talking about things that is not conducive to their quote unquote agenda. I just actually got unbanned for giving my own story out. So if you guys can, go to YouTube, Smitty Smacks, and follow me over there as well. And YouTube is not any better, but I'm hoping that if I get silence on one platform, I can continue on the other platform. So thank you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you. We're gonna get back into the second video.
has white skin color in this audience has extra privileges that you as a black individual do not have. Can you list what those are?
Sure. When FDR
Me too.
employed the New Deal.
Sorry to pause. I have a photography page. I was a really big photographer in Atlanta. A lot of people still know me there now. Actually, I had the #1 studio in Atlanta for a long, long time. But when I started to change my opinion of how I thought about Trump and start to open up to listen to his conservative views and realize that what was said about him wasn't necessarily true, I started to express that on that page. I had 250,000 followers at that time. Like overnight, 50,000 followers was gone. So, and now I'm at like 186. I don't even go over that page anymore. So I understand losing followers a lot. I had another page that had like 80,000 followers and went down to 10,000 in like 2 weeks. So yeah, when you start to disagree with them, they don't want to speak. Dialect is out the window.
To counteract the Great Depression. This came with resources that was allowed it to white people. Banks denied 99% of qualified black applicants while also accepting 99% of white applicants.
But today in 2025.
Okay, today in 2025, as I alluded to you, they've done studies in psychology where white-sounding names receive jobs or callbacks more than black-sounding names. They did the two names. It was a white young lady named Anna Scott, and it was a black young lady named Lakeisha Washington. They both put in 80 job applications. Lakeisha Washington received 9 callbacks and received 75 callbacks out of 80.
That's a good point. I actually, that study is debated, but let's pretend it's true. Do you think it's racism or something else?
I think that answer is multifaceted.
Because it didn't. Let me make the best.
I like when Charlie does this, right? Even when he agrees with something, instead of going back and forward saying, no, that statistic that statistic is not true and you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. He always does this. He always says, I don't think it's true, but let's pretend it is true. So that puts the person that he's debating against back like this and saying, okay, well, I can't really go at him because he's basically saying that, okay, for right now, I'm going to take what you're saying is true. And since we're agreeing that what you're saying is true, this is my perspective on it, even if it is true. Brilliant.
Sorry to interrupt you. If we live under a status of DEI,
let's play this out. Exactly. Thank you, Colby.
That they're not qualified.
Thank you, Datsy, for the follow. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you.
Assume maybe that an applicant might be there based on DEI, not on merit. It actually creates more racism where it doesn't exist.
So DEI is not about going and grabbing some random person of color and saying you therefore qualified. DEI is about considering other qualified applicants.
Well, let's take airline pilots. United Airlines wants 40% all of their airline pilots to be women or people of color.
This was a very, very controversial statement whenever he said this. And I understood what he said when he said it.
Why does that matter? Number one, because I want a qualified airline pilot, not a person of color airline pilot.
Understood.
So you agree. But number two, there's only so many airline pilots jobs. So when you say we want 40%, by definition, then you have to discriminate against a certain group to get another group to advance, right?
Understood.
Because there's not unlimited amounts of spots for airline pilots or air traffic control or surgeons.
Thank you for the like and follow.
Whatever position. So when you say that we want to have a quota, then you have to say we're not going to prioritize a certain group. Let me tell you what I believe, and maybe you might actually agree with it, because I think you do. What we believe as conservatives is that skin color really doesn't matter that much. We care about character and merit.
First of all, a racist is not saying that. He just clearly said that he does not care about skin color. He cares about character and merit. Racist is not going to say that. And he always says this. He don't really care about your race. He don't care about your skin color. He cares about what your character is and how you are as a person, and if you're actually qualified to do what you're doing. You could be a purple penguin for all he cares. As long as you can do the job and you're the best at that job for that position, then hey, penguin away.
We want a country built on what you bring to the table.
Thank you, Clifford, for the follow.
Not how you look.
Exactly. And America
started. Thank you for sharing the live, Major. I appreciate it.
Merit and
I missed that a little bit because I was talking. Sorry.
Look.
Exactly. And America started out with that based on merit, and theoretically it was supposed to work. In practice, it did not, which is why you have these different programs of affirmative action, DEI, and the Civil Rights Act, because they were not working. You cannot ignore that these
Now, this is one thing I would say here because no problem. Thank you, Major. I appreciate it. So this guy actually just said something that that is like kind of true. So you're gonna notice about me. I'm going to try to be as fair as neutral as possible. I'm not saying that he's what he said, what Charlie just said was wrong because Charlie's absolutely right. But what this guy is saying that these programs in its creation is supposed to perceive um, supposed to be perceived as helping black individuals get jobs that they're qualified for when they were first implemented into the system. So he's kind of correct there, but however, he's just talking his time period is wrong. It has nothing to do with the program itself. The program is not helping anything out. The issue was getting people out of the system that didn't like to hire certain people. So the program is not helping us. Getting a DEI initiative has nothing to do with it. It's about getting the right people of character in those positions to hire people that are qualified. Because if you give me if I'm supposed to follow the guidelines of DEI and I'm for some reason a racist, I don't really care if you're black and I'm supposed to abide by this policy. I'm not going to hire you anyway. So the issue was never about getting programs together to get blacks or people of minority in a position that they should have. It's about getting the people that's in those positions out that shouldn't be there anyways. That's always been the issue in my head, anyways.
Policies were created to counteract racism. A counteract to racism is not racism in itself.
Well, I reject the premise, and I will say
Exactly.
this.
You're 100% correct. The intent is good, but implementing them created the DEI. You're right. I agree with you. The thought process, well, I'll put it like this. When it comes to government and them creating policies or projects or anything, the way that the way that they give it to the public is going to be in a way that the public can digest it. But we really don't really know the real reason behind a lot of these programs. We come to find out that a lot of these programs are just ways to um, get funding so that they can misuse it and do what they want to do and, and abuse it because you have to look at the financial statements of these people that's behind these DEI programs and Black Lives Matters and all that stuff and find out where are they getting their wealth from, like how are they profiting off these initiatives. And you come to find out that even though they gave it to us in a way that we can digest it, the real motive behind it was never about helping us. That's just a way for them to keep us involved in thinking that so we can continue to feed the cow. That's all that is. Why is it? I also blame society and our lack of attention. We want our info quick versus being correct. It allows biased editing. Yes, I agree. Ready mismatch is bad. Maybe even worse. Unknown legend. I think I missed a few comments here. We'll go over some of your comments. What's going on, Killer? How you doing, my friend? Thank you for stopping by. Too many listen to headlines and snippets and finding the truth. I agree. Nobody wants to listen to people that they disagree with. I'm gonna say this and I'll go back, I'll continue on the video. I say this all the time. The reason why I was able to get on the thought process that I'm on now is because I actually sat down one day and said, you know what? I know that the media is lying about this comment because if I heard this person when he spoke about it, and that made me sit down and really listen to that person more. And once I sit down and listen to that person, I'm not going to say his name because I got banned on TikTok for saying this. Once I actually sat down and listened to what the person said, it was like, no, no, no problem. Thank you, nutritious. Like, oh no, that's not what he said. That's not what he said. So if you're lying about this, you could be lying about a lot of things. So you got to go out and listen to people for yourself and get your own conclusion. Because if you don't, you'll let people lead you into a bad route down the road. Because you're gonna have your own best interests at heart. You can't really just allow somebody else to lead you down the wrong path.
If you do something racist on top of something racist, that doesn't make the second
Exactly.
racist action good.
Exactly.
Because if you discriminate against white people to say that we're fighting racism, then that's not a good idea. But instead, I think you can agree that when we build a society like college admissions or job applications, we should say no quotas and just merit. You agree?
I agree.
Then you're against DEI.
You have to.
DEI says quotas.
Yeah, let me finish. I agree to a certain extent. So when you mention about discriminating against whites, of course, I don't agree with that.
Well, that is DEI, just so we're clear.
Right, and I'm gonna say it again.
Cool, all right.
DEI was created to offset racism. We left it up to majority of white America to include people of color.
In theory, it was created for that.
They would not. So if my argument is that you're saying it's reverse racism, my argument is that it needed to be there to counteract racism. Sounds like we need to find a different solution for both parties.
I have a great solution. Stop talking about race all the time. Race doesn't mean anything.
Now, will a racist say that?
I think
Because I look at you not as a black guy, but as a human being made in the image of God, and I want to know what you bring to the table. Are you good at the job? Are you better than your competitor? Because let me just,
Guys, I don't know no racists that talk like that. I haven't met a racist that talk like that before. The main thing that racists say is that you're this color, so I don't want to be associated with you. I don't know no racists that talk about that. So I don't understand it. So that you're not watching Charlie if you believe Charlie is a racist. You're not watching Charlie. You're watching something else. You're not watching Charlie.
pause for a second. I just want you to hear out what we believe. Is that when you talk about race all the time, you start to resegregate society based on tribes, and you lose this idea of e pluribus unum, all made in the image of God, out of many one. And yes, we have made many mistakes in our past, but we were getting closer as a country in my childhood as being not obsessed with race. We've become more race obsessed over the last 10 years, especially the last 5 years, which is why we're seeing the anti-DEI movement, which actually ends up hurting people of color more than previously. And I guess the biggest question, though, is that why should race matter at all? Shouldn't we just de-emphasize it?
What I wanted to first respond to was the notion of stop talking about race. I don't agree with that notion for the simple fact that talking about things bring awareness. Awareness leads to actions. Actions produce change results. I just want to use your logic and flip it on you. Imagine if you had cancer and your doctor was like, let's just stop talking about it. It wouldn't, in the same context that racism wouldn't go away.
It's not going to go well for him.
Got it.
Cancer wouldn't go away.
Anytime Charlie pick back up that mic, if he sit it down and you say something, he pick it back up, just know that you're about to get obliterated.
Accept that premise.
Not.
Do you think racism is a top 100 problem in America?
I think it is. I haven't considered the other 99 to give a thorough.
Crime, fathers not being around, obesity, suicide, mental health issues,
For sure.
anxiety, cost of college, an open border, Russian-Ukrainian war, nuclear proliferation, artificial intelligence, the rise of China. Like, all that's probably more important than racism. So
I'm not saying it is or isn't.
But however,
you're kind of changing the subject.
No, I'm not. But I'm to say, use your premise. If I have cancer, that's the most important thing happening to me.
Correct.
Racism is not a cancer on America. Racism is sin, and we'll never get rid of sin because we are broken, fallen creatures from our Creator, and we rebelled.
Right,
So
but you do not solve issues by not discussing them. If you and your wife I'm not sure if you're married, if you and your wife have a disagreement with communication, and you tell her, like, hey, let's just stop talking about our problems. So problems do not disappear.
I actually don't think it's an issue nearly as much as you do. I think we've made it a bigger issue.
I'm not making it a bigger issue. I'm just discussing. This is just my talking
I'm
point.
saying generally, but like, let's just say, and then I do want to get your definition, though. What is racism?
Racism is a form of feeling superiority. It is expressed through discrimination and through the legal system.
Oh, fair enough. So we agree that's wrong and it's terrible. So
Racist not saying that. He just agreed with this guy. Said that it's wrong and it's terrible. I quote, you just heard it here just like I did. He didn't say, no, it's not wrong and I prefer it. He didn't say that. So where's the racism, Charlie?
we should get rid of practices that actively discriminate against anybody based on race. Can you be racist against white people?
Can I? Or
Yes.
black people?
No, yeah, can a black person like yourself be racist against a white person?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Now, I do appreciate this is the type of what's going on, Kevin? This is the type of person of color or that does not agree with Charlie that I like to see around like talk, because you can tell that he's not necessarily like, he probably has his bias, but he's not rude. Like, he's not there to just go get like a gotcha moment with Charlie. He's trying to actually listen to him, and his responses is not just to respond. You can tell that he really thought about this and he really believes this. I never understood why people call Charlie. Yeah, I never understood it either. Well, I do understand it because I understand how the media works and how the pundits are whenever they put out clips and not the clips in full. But yeah, I do appreciate this guy though. I wish we had more people that oppose views to talk like this, because this is the type of dialect that we need, and this is the type of dialect that Charlie was fighting for. This is productive because only one or two things is going to happen. Either Charlie's going to leave there and he's going to have his view change on how he approached it, and he's going to learn from how do he speak to people and come off a better way, or this guy's going to leave this situation and say that, hey, Charlie is not the person I thought he was. So maybe let me look into his views a little bit more and find out why he thinks the way that he thinks. And he may still come back and disagree with Charlie, but he won't leave this situation saying that Charlie's a racist, and he can be more of a voice for open debate and saying that, hey, I talked to Charlie. I didn't agree with him, but I did not get racist from Charlie. So at the bare minimum, like, that is what we need when it comes to debate. So I appreciate this, even though I don't agree with this guy for the most part. He does have some valid points, but I don't agree with him about 80% of it.
Agree, and you should be applauded for that, because some people on the left think you can't be racist against white people.
So
Some,
just,
not all.
just to speak for black people,
No, speak for yourself.
That's quite a statement, but sure.
well, let me speak for the majority who are of my opinion. So when blacks
They surely do,
let's
Fox.
say, have disdain for whites, it is not based in racism. It is based in cause and effect. It is normal for anybody to hate a suppressor. It is normal for anybody to hate their. It is normal for anybody to hate their murderers. America went to war with the British Empire for being suppressed and oppressed. So my concluding point is that a lot of the hate that can be perceived from blacks as white is hating oppression, not white people. Because if you substitute our oppression for a Mexican, if a Mexican oppresses us, we therefore hate him as well. If a black man oppresses us, we therefore hate oppression.
I think that's
See, that's a valid point. Like that, I love people like this that disagrees with me, because of you come to find out that, and they actually say a lot throughout this debate, that they actually agree on a lot of things. It's just that the way that they get to that disagreement is the issue. But they have like the same thought process when it comes to certain topics. It's just that one person came up to one conclusion and the other person came to another conclusion. But the things that they believe in is actually more aligned than what we thought it may be, or what they probably thought it may be. So, like, this is actually a beautiful debate, and I know that when I say a beautiful, people are like, well, what about this debate? If you understand debate and people that oppose each other coming to speak about things, this is actually a really, really good example of how you have a debate and be respectful. I love this.
a fair point. Let me ask one final question, if that's okay. If you had to decide which is a bigger problem facing Black America,
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. The good old question that Charlie likes to ask, and I love it. And every time he asks this, no matter how quick a person is on the responses to the previous questions, whenever he asks this question, they have to pause, because they know when they answer this question truthfully, it debunks everything that they said, because it all comes back to that one fundamental issue. And you'll hear it here.
racism or a lack of fathers raising Black kids, which is a bigger problem?
I would say what impact? Repeat the question.
Oh, repeat the question. Repeat the question, huh? Okay. All right. Let's repeat the question.
If you had to decide in a binary choice, which is a bigger problem facing Black America, racism or a lack of fathers raising Black youth?
I think it's a combination of both, but for sure we'll say black, because blackness affects blacks more than you ever affect me in my life.
I'm sorry, so you would say racism or the Black fathers?
Fathers.
I agree. So now we have agreement.
Agreement.
Do you agree that the last 5 years we've talked more about racism and way less about dads staying around with the women they impregnate? Would you agree that's probably a problem?
I agree that's a problem amongst all races. When you say we, who is we?
Well, as a society, but it's especially a problem in Black America. If you had to guess, I know this is like Trivial Pursuit, but approximate, what percentage of Black youth have a stable father around?
I wouldn't know those numbers, sir.
It's about 30%. So that means that 2 out of 3 Black kids do not have a dad around.
I will have to fact check that for myself.
That's fine. You can
I
look it
watched
up.
A few of your videos.
You guys
and
can
passed off
look
this
it up on
information.
Grok or ChatGPT or Perplexity or the AI of your choice, right? And so here's our perspective as conservatives, because this is a colorblind truth. See, as conservatives, we apply things.
They got mad at me for calling him a legend. No, I called him a legend. I called him no, I called him a hero. And people on my Facebook went belligerent. I never watched these videos. Yeah, they're not gonna watch these videos.
Things that are true to all human beings, regardless of their skin color. That if you don't have a dad around, you're more likely to commit crimes, go to jail, more likely to basically be on the outer fringe of society. When 2 out of 3 black youth don't have dads around, that's a big, big problem. And it creates a cycle of violence and poverty. That's not racism, that's culture. And the cultural problems happening in black America, the white people are not doing that to black
Do we
America.
not look at the sources of poverty? When I spoke about redlining, that was literally whites forcing blacks into ghettos because they would not give us houses.
No one's going to defend that.
We cannot ignore that.
No one's going to defend that. But
we cannot ignore who created poverty, who created the ghettos.
Let me ask a simple
question. It's disingenuous.
Well, hold on. Just because you're poor doesn't mean you have to leave the woman you impregnate.
Correct.
That does not transcend every racial group. I want an answer, though, because I'm curious. Why is it that so many black men leave the women that they impregnate, more so than any other group? Why is that? Is that the white person's fault?
No.
So maybe the biggest problem facing black America is self-actualized.
Right. I'm not arguing,
external.
I'm not arguing what's the biggest and smallest problems. I was just asking you about
but
white privilege, because it exists.
For sure. But what I'm arguing is that as a society, we had entire years of corporate apologizing, television advertisements talking about racism in America, and zero attention saying, hey, dudes of all colors, don't impregnate women and abandon them because you're cowards. Why hasn't anybody ever said that? Because that actually would fix the country.
What makes you think that hasn't been said amongst
It hasn't been said. I haven't heard it.
The black community?
Other than from him.
Can you?
And other conservatives.
I'm a black father. It's been.
Well, thank you. Amazing. Can you point to a single black artist, rapper, or athlete that has said that in the last decade?
About specifically saying black fathers should be involved in their children's life?
No, saying don't abandon the women you impregnate.
Oh, they haven't said it in those words, but they do promote black family ties, which is
do you think
essentially the same thing.
I'm not trying to nitpick, but do you think most rappers promote staying with their family or not staying with the women that they impregnate?
The rappers that I listen to, the J. Cole's, the Kendrick Lamars, they preach family values.
Okay, I'm not an expert in American rap, but if American rap is promoting family values, then I guess I'll stand.
Not in its full totality. You have different genres of rap. You have gangster rap, conscious rap, hip hop, so forth and so on. But for the artists that I listen to, they absolutely promote those type of values that you promote.
I'm glad to hear that. I
actually agree with many of your conservative takes.
Thank you.
See, I love what he just and it's getting ready to end there. I'll play out. It's only like another 16 seconds, but I like what he just said there. Like he ended up like letting them know, like, I disagree with you, but I do agree with a lot of your conservative takes. And what you would come to find out at the end of the day, if you actually just listen to what he says and you really are a good person, like if you're a heathen and you listen to what he says because you just live a bad life and you just think bad about life in general, you hear his good values and you're not gonna take anything from it because you're just a heathen on the inside. But if you have any like kind of self-respect or control, or if you're just a good person in general and you hear this, you're not going to come out saying that you disagree with it. Like not 100% anyways. You may disagree with some of the things he say, but at the core of it, the fundamental things that he's saying, you're not going to disagree with it. And that's what this guy come to at the end. He says it's just like a lot of people tend to do if they're being honest. I don't really agree with a lot of the things you say. It's just that on this issue, it's always that one issue that they'll have. Hey, you're allowed to have that one issue, but it's always that one issue. Like I agree with 99% of what you said, but this 1% of what you said is so loud that I can't even think about the other 99%. And I kind of think that's what this guy issue is with Charlie. So at the end of the day, does he really have an issue with Charlie? Because he know that the issues that really plaguing the black community is our culture and nothing to do with the white man or anybody else that's not black. Like, no, the biggest issue are our cultural issues and what we promote in the black nuclear family. Like, and he's 100% right. That's why I always tell people you got to be very intentional about who you get involved with. And if you decide one day that it does not work out, you have to have a backup plan and figure out how can we make it work as a family, even though we aren't a family, for our family, if that makes any sense. On one sense, people like to look at both sides. You have to look at both sides. I always, if you are too far left, you're gonna go down the wrong road. If you're too far right, you're gonna go down the wrong road. That's why it's better to stay neutral and you pick out the values from both sides that work for you, and hopefully that those sides can get together and make all those values work together, which is never gonna happen because you have people on both sides with their own agendas. So that's never gonna happen. That's just wishful thinking. All right, so we'll um we'll move on from that clip. We're gonna go into one more clip, and then we'll come up to a conclusion, and we'll end out this first stream, man. I'm happy that I actually did this. I was kind of worried about how I would approach it. Well, not worried. I knew I could get on and talk all day, but I didn't want to just ramble and ramble on. And sometimes I can ramble, but yeah, I'm gonna move on to the third clip, and then we'll talk a little bit before we get out of here.
This is always the issue. I throw out the hats, and then they get thrown back at me to sign them. So we got to figure this. I got to sign them ahead of time. Yes, sir.
I got you. How you doing, Charlie? Everybody good? That's good. Okay, I got my phone out. That's cool for you? Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna quote you real quick. You said if I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Are you gonna do that?
Yeah, I mean that is correct. Yeah.
That's correct. Okay.
See, at his face, that can, if you just take that statement right there, which was woo, that when he said that, this was really big. And I'm gonna be the first to admit, Charlie could have said that differently. He could have, but that's just not the way that Charlie approaches situations. He's gonna say it the way that he sees it. And it could have 100% been said differently. But I will also say that I don't think that he said it disrespectfully. It was just that when you know how when somebody tell you something that you know is true, but hearing it out loud makes you like angry because now now you have to face it. That's all it was with the Black America. When he said it out loud, we had to swallow what we already knew was true. So yeah, he could have said it a little bit differently, but it was just at the end of the day, it was just facts.
So can we both agree?
What was the context of what I said though? 'Cause
What was the context? I don't even want to get into DEI because your opinion on DEI it doesn't really help it in this case. So, if the context between what you brought up was that you believe that
because
it's
they were being
of
hired
DEI,
because they were black.
Okay, so can we both agree that every single pilot, whether black, white, whoever, has to go through FAA
No.
certification?
No, actually,
We can't?
new lawsuit shows that black pilots and female pilots have the standards being relaxed.
No,
for them.
sir. Can we agree at the time of February 29th or 2023 when you said it at the time? No?
No, actually, I said it. That's why you don't know the context. Is that new lawsuits were showing that they were relaxing the standards for air traffic control and pilots in order to meet the standards.
The context of that was diversity, equity, and inclusion. What does that have to do with hiring?
I'm sorry, what's going on, Simon? I think you're missing the fact that something shouldn't be said. I don't tell a kid with D's he's capable of living, with DS that he's incapable of living normally. That I mean, I got you. You can say that even if you don't say it out loud, that's fine. But let's take your own argument at hand. You say that you don't tell a person that has DS that he's incapable of living normally. Just because you don't say it deep down inside, you know it. That's why you don't say it. Thank you for liking the live, JRD. And that's the point that what Charlie is saying. Charlie is the person that's coming out and bringing the issues that we know already inside are issues. Like we know this. I'm a black man, and I know that for a long time, the things that I would listen to in rap music was not conducive to my neighborhood. I knew that on the inside. We all knew that. Most of us already knew that. But to actually hear somebody say it out loud, even though it may sound like it's mean or racist, you need that, and that's just the case. Like sometimes people need to know that, hey, this thing you're not right, so you shouldn't do this. Now, DS is a little bit different because even if you was to tell a person that is not a good is nine times out of 10, they may not even comprehend it, but just because you say it does not make it either more or less true. Things are very black and white, and I think we got to get back to that mindset. Is either it's black or it's right. We didn't created so much gray area that everybody think everything is gray, and that's not the case. Like no, like, sometimes you just got to give people harsh reality. Like if I suck at basketball, like this, my son sucked at basketball, and I don't have kids, but I have a son. He sucked at basketball, and I know that my son sucked at basketball. But I'm continuing to let him waste all his time in playing basketball. Every second he have a free time instead of going out and socializing with kids and building um, social skills with people that he's gonna need later on in life. I just let him continue to go down the path that I know that he's gonna fail at. I'm not doing myself justice as a father without being true to my child. Like you're maybe you need to try something a little bit different. Now, the issue that people has with Charlie, that Charlie would be the person to say, "Hey, son, you suck at basketball, so I think you need to do something a little bit different," which I can understand. Now, I'm going to approach that a little bit different. I'm going to give my son some other alternatives that I think he may be good at. But just because he took a different route as at explaining that to his child in mind, at the end of the day, we both knew the same thing that our kid sucked at basketball, and that people just got to stop being so sensitive. Stop being sensitive. That's what it is. Stop being. When did we become so sensitive? When we are the same people that off camera and outside of the public eye. Whenever we talk to our friends and we kid and we joke around, we say some of these same things, but when we hear it out loud from somebody else's voice, we seem like they were so surprised. I was just having a gaming session last night with exactly man used to be, and I don't 100% disagree with you, Simon. I don't 100% disagree with you, but I do disagree with you on some on the thought process because at the end of the day, it's not really about what you say; it's about how you say it. You hear that a lot, so I don't 100% disagree with you. I don't want you to think that because I do understand where you're coming from. There is a way that you should do things, but um, yeah, sometimes you just got to give people the hard truth. Like, like I'm very honest with myself. When I found out that I wasn't gonna be in the NBA, I told myself, bruh, I'm just average and I'm never gonna be in the NBA. And I just started going to LA Fitness to play basketball. I stopped camps because there wasn't gonna be my route in life. So sometimes people got to hear.
Everything. DEI definitionally is that we will hire more of a race versus a different race. So, for example, United Airlines said that they want 50% of their new pilots to either be women or black.
Okay.
Currently, just so you understand, it's like 8%. So they want to go from 8% to 50%.
Okay.
And every time DEI is implemented, every single time, the lowering of standards occurs. Every single time.
Lowering of standards?
Correct. So can I prove it to you? We both want excellence, right?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
If you and I said, hey, we want 50% of the new people going in the NBA are white,
Okay.
would the NBA drop in its standard?
No.
Look, okay, he answered fast. I thought he was gonna. I remember watching this, but I can't remember the whole like what's the word I'm looking for? I can't remember exactly what the conversation was in totality, but I do remember watching.
No.
The National Basketball
Yeah.
League,
No, if we
like
said
the
50%,
NBA,
if we say
if,
by
if 50% of the NBA dropped and it was only white.
No, I
you're
said-
saying,
I
you're
said
saying would
you're
the
not-
standard go down?
I'm not hearing what I'm saying. If 50% of all new people going in the NBA were white, by decree, would the quality of play of the NBA decrease?
Would the quality of play in the NBA decrease?
Yeah.
No, if they're the same standard of basketball play.
Hold on, let's talk realistic.
What are you saying realistically? You're asking me if
75% of the NBA is black. 75%.
So does that mean white players are less better, or does that mean
whites are not as good at basketball as blacks?
Okay.
I mean,
You see that? You see how Charlie is speaking in reality, like he's not just because he knows, and that kind of find out that he was a basketball player and he's quite an athlete. I didn't know that he was a quarterback and he played basketball in school. I did not know that at all. But he's not going around saying that, hey man, people saying that black people are better than white people in basketball. That's just gonna be that's just a fact. We already talk about genetics and stuff like that and quick twitch muscles and all that. There's gonna be some things that certain races gonna be better than other races. Like that's just what it is. Like I always tell people when it comes to when it comes to boxing, it's a slim chance that you're gonna kick a Mexican ass. Like almost every Mexican that I know, they can freaking fight as kids. Like when I used to play basketball a lot, and people would talk shit to like some of the Mexican guys in there playing basketball. I always told them, I said, brother, like I don't know you, but I will leave this guy know. I don't know this guy either, but by statistically speaking, this guy's gonna know how to fight. And every time I seen somebody get their ass whooped in the basketball gym, they was getting their ass whooped by a Mexican guy because they thought that they can go over there and mess with a Mexican. No, it's just certain things that now there are always going to be exceptions, even though that on average a lot of Mexicans going to know how to fight. That doesn't mean that our best fighter in boxing is not going to be somebody other than the Mexican. That's not what I'm saying, because right now we have my guy who just beat Canelo, and then we had Floyd, and we had Tyson and stuff like that. We know that that's going to be the case. I feel like people don't like hearing. Yeah, they don't like to hear the truth. But yeah, that's just the case. Mexico's going to be good in boxing. We know that black people going to be good in basketball, football. White folks going to be good at golf, and maybe I think on average, a lot of people are better at tennis because there's probably more people white people playing tennis. I'm not really sure about tennis and stuff like that, but you guys know what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with him saying that. But Charlie's not getting butt hurt because there's not a lot of white folks in the NBA. He's saying that if a lot of white folks was mandated to be in the NBA, then we probably won't see as many dunks. We probably won't see as many 3-point shooters and crossovers. Now, again, I know some white boys that can absolutely hoop. Right now, one of the best dunkers in the world is a white guy. So that's never going to be the case where I'm saying that it's absolute. There are always going to be some anomalies. Like a lot of people, when I used to play basketball a lot of those white boys over there, oh man, they can ball, and I will pick them up first. I will pick them up first. But on average, it's not going to be like
everybody calm down.
We got some big exceptions. I mean, we're very proud of Larry Bird, okay?
No, he's good.
We're very proud of Luka and Nikola. However, the point being, let's implement DEI in the NBA. Okay. If all of a sudden 50% of all the players have to be white, which means they have to say no to otherwise good black players.
There was a time where this happened, right?
Well, no, I of course, and the league wasn't as good. That's the point.
No, you understand that there was a time where the exclusion of African American players was in the NBA, right?
No, for sure. I acknowledge that, and the league got better as blacks were allowed in.
Did it get better, or did we just integrate ourselves in?
No, it got better.
No, but wait,
the players in the league averages around that time weren't worse. We just got better.
Hold on. Do you actually think that? Why is it that 75% of the NBA is black?
Right now?
Yeah.
I mean, well, it was a certain point around 1965
why
where
is
a
it?
law
Answer the
passed
question.
where we can actually...
Why is it that
answer that
75% of the NBA is black?
Because we integrated into the league.
No, because the best players are allowed to play in the NBA.
Well, actually, the best players in the NBA are European-born. They're not even African-American.
I mean, a couple of them are. As I said, we're very proud.
No, we're very integrated within sports, but what does that prove?
That proves that the NBA is not built on DEI. It's built on excellence.
No, the NBA isn't proof. So when you mention DEI, you're now saying that it's...
You obviously don't know what DEI is. DEI...
How I know what DEI is if you're not giving me a proper explanation on what it is.
DEI is racial quotas.
Racial quotas?
Yes.
He's never heard of DEI surprised.
So,
listen, he reminds me of somebody that I grew up with. This is really like the mannerisms of us in the growing up in the hood, for sure. Like I love this. This is absolutely hilarious to me. And he's probably like, he's one of these guys. This black guy's probably freaking funny in person too. Look how you turn around, bro. He cannot control his stuff right now. He want to curse everybody out in the crowd, but he's being respectful, so I love it.
Do you know what a racial quota is? You have to have a certain amount of a certain race. That is what United Airlines did. We must get to 50% of our pilots to be black or women. Therefore, if the NBA said 50% of our players have to be white, I guarantee you, we could try to get as many Serbs and Croats as possible. It's not going to make the NBA the best league. Instead,
Sure
the
isn't.
NBA has a policy of which the NBA and the FAA and the United Airlines should have the same policy. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It matters how good you are at what you do.
So what you're
Excellence
saying-
matters.
Wait. Okay.
See, like, why would you disagree with that? Like, he's saying that this is. I'm gonna flip this, and this is the best way I can say this. This was Charlie's DEI viewpoint. He's basically saying, if there was a position of 100 people that need to be filled, and you had 100 black people and you had 100 white people for a total of 200 people. If the top 100 people for that position are all black, then all 100 of those positions should go to the 100 black people. That's what Charlie's issue. I mean, that's what his whole argument is. It never was about saying, oh, don't get black folks. He's saying that if the black person is indeed the best person for that position, then that's the person who should have that position. But what we don't understand, I'm not gonna say we because I understand it, but what most people don't understand when it comes to their DEI argument, in that same scenario, that only 50 of those people that were black, which should have been 100% if we're going off the example that I'm saying, only 50 of those people are going to get in 50 positions, and then we're going to have to take 50 other white folks that are not as qualified as the other 50 people to fill it in. So now you have 50 of the best people in that position, then you have 50 of the worst people in that position, instead of just taking 100%, 100 of the 100 people that are the best qualified. So when you make that argument to people that way, then they understand it. Like, well, hold on. That's what he just said. That's pretty much what Charlie just did here to this guy. He reversed it on him. He gave them a scenario where that blacks should have those positions, and now he's starting to realize that, I'm not going to beat him on this point because now I understand what he's saying, but he don't want to admit it.
So what you're saying is, everybody's good? So what you're saying is the NBA
It's a great example
is
of...
a great example. No, it's a bad example. Because in the example that I gave you, I said when you say a black or female pilot might be less qualified because of DEI, what you're implying is that they didn't earn their spot.
Correct, they didn't, because that's what DEI does.
That's what you're implying?
Because you're there because of the quota, not because of excellence.
Does DEI give you the opportunity because of who you are, or does it open up access?
No, it gives it because of literally the color of your skin.
Charlie, you are quoted by saying that, guys, Charlie...
Everyone knows the quote because it's true. When you hire somebody...
What's true?
It's true because they are there not because of their merit, but because of a racial quota. Why is it that only 8% of pilots right now for United Airlines are black or female?
It's actually 3%.
Oh, that proves my point even more.
And no, it doesn't. It's, guys, DEI is the reason why they're not in these positions. But it's because they're... Listen.
Man, you are making no sense at all.
That's cool.
No, explain to me what...
Diversity, equity, and inclusion is the... Sorry, okay.
Explain to me what a racial quota is.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion is the reason as to why accesses are now open to certain races.
Hold on. Can a black person not become a pilot before DEI?
What are you saying? Was it equal opportunity or was it equal access?
But
was it equal opportunity? Was it equal access?
It's
Charlie?
equal. Both.
It's both.
Yes.
It's equal opportunity and it's equal. I could not go to college in 1964 with a free ride.
Why he keeps talking about 1964? He living in 2024, 25.
And free paid tuition, but you could, Charlie.
Hold
what
on.
are y'all
First of
saying?
all,
Are y'all just forgetting that the last 50 years of historical context happened?
This is
that's crazy.
How did that?
That's crazy.
How does that impact you? And wait, do you have a free ride right now?
Do I have a free ride right now?
Yeah.
I go to school.
Who pays your tuition?
Who pays my tuition?
Yeah.
I don't want to share that on.
You just said you had a free ride.
I don't want to.
Wait, hold on.
I said in 1964, I could not go to school
So
on
it's
a free ride.
2025. Let's stay focused on today.
So in 2025, even with equal opportunity and open access,
it's not.
That's what diversity, equity, and inclusion is. It opened up access for people like me to get these opportunities.
But so someone has to pay for your college. Who's paying for it?
You're saying someone has to pay for my college?
Yeah. So taxpayers are paying for your
college. Deposit the money into the bank right now.
Well,
they did it already.
Show me your bank account. It's taxes.
Wait,
Charlie Kirk, I'm talking to you.
This is a publicly funded
Charlie
institution.
Kirk.
But
the publicly funded institution. We are one of the it's top three. ISU, University of Illinois Champaign, and the University of Illinois Chicago. 3 schools, universities that are getting funded more than other universities in Chicago. So yes, we do get funded more. Yes, I'm well more access to get a free ride. But what if I went to Chicago State University?
Right.
Would I get a free ride then?
I wouldn't recommend anyone goes to Chicago State.
Why not?
I mean,
Why not?
It's a terrible school.
Well, Charlie, are they funded?
I don't know the specifics.
You don't know the specifics.
It's
Charlie,
not exactly
Charlie,
a reputation of a great school.
I can tell you, Illinois State.
It is not a funding
Illinois
issue.
State gets
Okay.
92% of funding in the state of Illinois for universities, for public universities. Chicago State gets basically none, virtually none. So
okay, great.
what you're saying is, it was opened up accesses. What I'm presenting to you is that the access that I was allowed.
Okay, so what?
Okay, this is a night and day opposed to the last black guy that we heard speak to Charlie. Now, I do applaud him because he's trying, but I don't think that he thought out I think that he thought he came with his talking points and he was going to be able to get a moment on Charlie. He had in his head about how it was going to go, and he got punched in the jaw when he came up there, metaphorically, and it didn't go that way. And now he's scrambling. Now he's like, oh shit, this is not going the way that I thought it was going to go. And he's scrambling. He's doing an okay job of scrambling. It's just not landing. Hey, thank you for the follow over to JDW. I appreciate it. Thank you. And yeah, like night and day. The last guy, he was very even though they disagreed, he was very well versed in what he was going to say. He was calm. He related his differences out to Charlie, to whereas Charlie can understand it, and as well as the crowd, because right now Charlie is not really the one who's giving him the business. It's the crowd. The crowd understands that this guy don't know what the hell he's talking about. And they're just laughing at him. So, but even though they're laughing at him, I don't see anybody punching them and, oh, we don't get out of here, you. We're not seeing that. They just let him know, listen, you're an idiot. And not just calling this guy idiot. I'm just saying in general, because I don't know him. He's in college, so I'm pretty sure he had some kind of some smarts to him in maybe another field, but it's not this one right here. Not debating Charlie. He thought he was going to run over Charlie and bulldog him. No, sir.
What do you mean by access? What
do I mean by access?
How do black people not have access to a better life in America? What's preventing them?
What's preventing black people from having a better life in America?
Yes.
Anytime, I'm sorry to stop, but this is a sign that a person don't know the hell they're doing. Whenever you ask them a question and they have to answer, repeat the same question that you just asked them back to you before they answer, they let you know that hey, they're scrambling at the moment. He said, "What's preventing Black America?" And you're like, "What's preventing Black America from?" Oh, that's funny. Oh Lord.
What's preventing them?
Police. The government.
Hold on. No.
Universities.
Police. How many unarmed black men die? How many unarmed black men die from the hands of police every year?
The unarmed
nationally?
black? Are you
yes.
serious?
How many?
Charlie Kirk, we're talking about something.
How many? No, you just said police. How many unarmed black men
15.
die at the hands of police every year?
Did I say that is the reason
You
why
just
we're
said
prohibited?
police.
Policing is an issue.
You're right. We don't have enough police on the streets of black neighborhoods.
The police department is well more funded than our normal libraries.
What is the number one cause?
See, that's this is one of those instances that people will clip this. I'm going to go back from what Charlie just said. This is one of those instances that we can learn from, and where people will clip what Charlie said. And this little clip by itself could absolutely be used to say that he is a racist. So if you didn't understand, if you didn't hear this argument in its totality, just hearing this one little clip right here will 100% make you say that he's a racist. So that's why I say that nobody is never without zero fault. You can say things if you think about them a little bit longer, just say things in certain ways. But again, that's just not Charlie's. That's just not his character. Like, he's gonna say it bluntly because he feels like people need to hear things bluntly. So bluntly, why I say bluntly, but bluntly.
It's a black neighborhood.
The police department is well more funded than our normal libraries.
What is the number one cause of black death in Chicago?
Are you serious?
Other blacks killing blacks.
Are y'all saying other blacks?
Yes.
We don't want to hear that, but it's 100% true. a black person is, and you can Google this, you can grok this, you can whatever that when it comes to especially some of the most dangerous neighborhoods in America, most of the killing going on is black on black crime, domestic violence, stuff of that nature. Like so that's 100% true. But people just they're only gonna take out the part because he said blacks. They said, but he also don't forget he also when he referred to white people he said whites. So if you're gonna say he's racist for saying blacks, why don't you say that he's been racist for saying whites? No, like that's a stupid argument. But if you take that clip by itself and just put it out, you're 100% gonna state that thing that he's a racist. I think there's time he has missed. But yeah, of course, everybody's gonna no, if anybody 100% agrees with Charlie Kirk, then they're missing the whole premise of being an unbiased person and being able to be taken seriously. I'm sorry, I messed that one up. But no, you shouldn't 100% to not agree with anything. If you 100%, the only person that you should probably 100% agree with if you believe in whatever you believe in, whoever your God is, like that's the only thing that you should believe in 100%, because when you believe in a person 100% or a cause 100%, it becomes your God. So you should never do that, because we know that man is imperfect and you're not going to sit here. To me, Candace is one of, like, I listened to Candace before I actually listened to Candace more than I listened to Charlie Kirk. And I'm one of those people, I am very pro Candace, but I would never agree with Candace 100%. I would never blindly agree with Candace. I'm going to listen to what she says, sentence at a time, and I'm going to agree with her a paragraph at a time. If she says something that I do not agree with, then I'm going to say, well, no, I understand this point, but I don't agree with this point. So, but that doesn't mean just because I don't agree with her on that particular point that I don't like anything about her anymore or him anymore. Like, no, he could have absolutely said that in a different way, and it came off a bit better. But you got to understand, this man does hundreds of these a year, maybe thousands. I'm not really sure how many he do. No, they said that he did 200 and something events last year. So one every other day or something like that. Now I got put on Candace right around pandemic time. Yeah, but I will get into that in another live of how I found myself to Candace. But right now, the people I listen to, like more often than not, more likely than not, if they said is some merit to it, it's gonna be Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Matt Walsh. Um, it was Charlie Kirk. And there's one more person that I used that if you listen to him a lot, um, if you listen to them and take what they say like as truth and then go find out for yourself, more than likely, I like Tim Waltz, but I just don't listen to Tim Waltz a lot. Um, no, 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 not that. I said Matt Walsh. No, I said I was talking about Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh. Why can I? You know, I'm talking about Matt. And he actually has one of the best YouTube shows, in my opinion. The one who did the What Is a Woman joint. I can listen. I can listen to Andrew Tate in whatever podcast. I know the other guy, Andrew, not Andrew Tate, but the other guy, Andrew that be on the whatever podcast. He's very very knowledgeable. But he's more of an asshole. He's definitely an asshole, but he's very 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 knowledgeable, and you're not beating him in a debate. Once he locks on to you, just go ahead and let go. Just say, Lord, take the wheel. I think he misspoken the time. That's the right word. But yes, I agree with you, SB Customs.
Other blacks.
Who's
People being killed.
Who's killing the blacks from Chicago? A bunch of kids from Highland Park?
Black, 22% Hispanic. That's very, very, very broad. Where
No.
are those locations at?
Who is
Where are those locations at?
East? No.
You're saying East Garfield? You've never been to East Garfield in your life.
Yes,
You're
I
from
went
East
once and I'll
Garfield?
never return.
You're from East Garfield? You've never been to East Garfield in your life.
No, tell me very
so
clearly.
When we're saying
Who
these
is
broader locations, it's these smaller
Who
locations.
is killing
these
the
broader
blacks in
communities,
Chicago?
these
Who
broader
is killing them?
communities Of 1,000.
See that he's not that very very night and day from the last black guy to him. Like He just wants to be right.
African Americans who you're taking statistics from communities.
Who is killing? No, I want to have a conversation with you.
What did you
And
expect, Charlie?
who is killing them?
Who is killing African Americans?
Yes.
People are killing people.
No. What race is killing them?
Why are y'all trying to act like African Americans are just solely murdered? People are killing people.
No. What
That's a real
race is
problem
killing?
that we
Is it
have.
white people killing blacks or blacks killing
People
blacks?
are killing people, Charlie.
Okay, but hold on.
He don't want to answer that question.
What race is
You're
killing
saying
the other
what race is killing what race more? That does not matter.
It
What-
does matter because it's a black-on-black problem.
It's a
and
black
blacks
on black
need to
problem,
solve
or is
the
it a
problem
crime
of black-on-black
Is
violence.
it a black on black problem or is it a crime problem?
It's a black-on-black problem that is a crime problem. Because I'll tell you why. If it was a bunch of kids from Deerfield coming in with guns, it would be a white problem. But somehow, if it was a black-on-black problem, it's a crime problem. It's systemic injustice. It's the police.
No,
not
what
enough
you're
funding.
saying is, Charlie, you're forgetting that these locations that you're bringing up are secluded by these races. So these races might have a easier time with policing, and yeah, they're gonna have nearly response time of 2 seconds.
Wait, it's the police's fault that so many blacks are killing other blacks?
Who just said that?
You did.
I said that?
Yes. No, but
Girl,
no,
please.
I want you to tell me, why is it that black Americans are 13% of the population, yet they commit 55% of the murders?
Where can you show me that?
Again, it's FBI statistics. It's well known.
FBI statistics. Where can you show me that at?
Again, it is.
Can you give me
ask
substantial
ChatGPT,
evidence
ask
with
Grok.
fact? Why would
What?
I ask ChatGPT when ChatGPT has shown, proven? What?
Prove it. Again, anyone near you can show you the
ChatGPT has shown
stats, right?
proven
It's
data
right
that
there.
is-
Look. Man,
Let's read it. 70% of offenders were African American. Pull it back up. Boo! Yeah, Charlie. For the sake of myself, I really do appreciate the ability to debate with you, man.
I want you to think about what I asked you.
Okay, you mind if I have a hat?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Oh, see, I don't think I remember watching the very end of him asking for the hat and saying that he kind of redeemed himself. He made himself like a complete fool by going up there against Charlie and not having his points in order. But he was humble enough, however you pronounce it on your side, to say that, okay, it was a pleasure debating against you or trying. He tried. He was holding on. He was holding on by a little thread for a long time, been shaking around. But he didn't walk off a lot and say, "F you, Charlie. Your face is small." Was what the guy said to Charlie after he lost that debate with him and walked off. He said, "That's why your face is small." And he walked off. This guy he bowed out gracefully. Atrocious debate on his side, but he bowed out graciously. So I'll give him that. I give him out of 10. I give him a 1.2 and then a 2 for the way he ended it. So yeah, man, those are the 3 examples we talk about. But what's going on, Nutritious? Actually, we just finished the last part of this. I'll let you watch this. You probably missed this. Let you watch this last little interaction, which was actually pretty good.
Were African American. ChatGPT, when ChatGPT has shown, proven. What?
Prove it. Again, anyone near you can show you the
ChatGPT has shown
stats, right?
proven
It's
data
right
that
there.
is-
Look. Man,
Let's read it. 70% of offenders were African American. Pull it back up. Boo! Yeah, Charlie. For the sake of myself, I really do appreciate the ability to debate with you, man.
I want you to think about what I asked you.
Okay, you mind if I have a hat?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
That was I'm on Twitch as I think it's I'm Smitty Smacks, and on Kick it's Smitty Smacks. I need to give at first I had Smitty Smacks across everything, and then I went for I was going for like a brand change because I wanted to separate my gaming from my political side of things. But I'm not big enough right now to try to separate things. So eventually I will go back to separating my gaming, which will be Smitty Smacks, and then my YouTube and political things will be After the Frames, which will be me talking about cultural issues, political issues, and tech. Thank you for the follow. But right now I just want to build with you guys and just talk about things and go through different situations and point of views. But that was lovely, man. It was great to watch those 3 clips. But yet, 3 of his most controversial clips. I know there are some more controversial ones out there, but I see disagreement, but I don't see racist. I seen him a lot say specifically that he does not care about race. And the fundamental issue with a racist is race. So how can you say a person is a racist when he really don't care about what race you are? That doesn't make any sense to me. I remember this one too. This dude is comedian. I'm glad I stumbled upon your stream. I appreciate you, Major. Thank you, Cayman. He was wrong in this clip. He's wrong in this clip. I agree. You can't. Thanks for coming back, Fox. Yeah, but guys, thanks for stopping by. For everybody who came in and conversed with me and send me some messages and likes, I appreciate it. If you guys can, like I said, I know how TikTok and YouTube can be trying to figure out their algorithm and not being banned. I'm just hoping that if I do get banned for speaking my point of view, that I'm not banned simultaneously on all my accounts. So if you guys can, I'm on YouTube streaming right now as Smitty Smacks. I'm on Spotify right now, listening to Spotify, but I didn't put this is my first time like quote unquote doing like a live and talking about issues, but I'm gonna do it every day from now on. If you guys have any topics that you think will be interesting to talk about, we will. I will be out like later through the day as like breaking news drops, especially with the Charlie Kirk situation. If something breaking drop, I'll get on stream and I'll send out some notification, let you guys know what's going on. We can talk about it. But I will eventually get on Spotify, Nutritious Death. I will. Not right now because, like I said, I want to build up a bigger vault of following. So I appreciate you guys. Just follow me on Instagram at Smitty Smacks. I am on YouTube at Smitty Smacks. My Twitch and TikTok is Smitty Smacks, or I am Smitty Smacks, and you're already on my TikTok. So I appreciate you guys. Like and share the stream, and that way will anyone in the chat reply. And which chat? By heaven is overrated. Murder status is unused because many go inside unreported. Yes, according to the FBI, and we know that sometimes allegedly they hide those statistics as well too. They try to doctor them, and we've been finding that out a lot lately over the last couple of months that crime has been a lot worse than what they've been reporting. So that happens. By heaven is overrated. But yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm going to close the stream out. And if there's anything else that I feel like that I should get on and talk about and share, I will do it. I appreciate you guys. And you have a blessed day. Does it make it wrong to use?